Hi, this is Ron Winkler, Classroom Technology Integration Specialist serving Silver Lake, Lincoln, and Price Elementary Schools. Welcome to another edition of 10-Minute Tech, where the ultimate goal is to get you some technical information in 10 minutes or less. Today we're going to talk about our Google Drive, and I am already in my Google Drive. I went to google.com and I selected my waffle. And I went to the drive icon, and sometimes it'll prompt you to sign in. I've already done that because I can see my green circuit board icon up here. Once we're in our Google Drive, I am going to select New, and we are going to go to a blank Google Doc today. One of the first things that I always do when I go into a blank Google document is title it, because it'll always give you the untitled document. And for those of you who have used Google Docs for a while, you know that Google Docs will save many untitled documents, and it is very difficult to decipher which document is which unless you give it a title. So I'm going to call this one Test. And then down here in the main area of our document, I'm also going to call this Test. I'm going to push enter a couple of times. And I'm just going to get an example sentence down there. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to make my title bigger. I'm going to highlight it. I'm going to select the font size tool, and I'm going to put it up to size 36. I also like to use a centering tool on the toolbar. My actual sentence that I've typed, right now it's in size 11, but I'm going to increase it to size 12. There's a tool on the toolbar, and we can see right now it's at 100%. It's called a zoom feature. I like to use it sometimes when I'm using a Chromebook, for example, because the screen's a little small for me, and I like to put it up to 150%. And this, of course, just gives me a bigger view of my document. Didn't actually increase the font size, but it just gives me a bigger view of what I'm working with. One of the buttons that students use frequently is undo. Undo and redo. This is in the event that a student highlights a document, for example, accidentally deletes it, isn't sure what happened, so of course their hand goes up in the air right away and they're panicked because they lost their work. Well, actually they didn't. They can actually undo that document and bring it right back. Sometimes teachers will allow students to colorize their letters, and if you're one of those people who allows students to add color, we can go to the color palette up here and we can choose a different color. If one of your requirements for your students is to add a header and a footer, we can go to the Insert pull-down menu and we can select Header, and they can put information up here, whatever you're requiring them to do. Of course, there is a spell check feature under the Tools menu, Tools and Spelling. We'll go through, and at this point it's telling me no spelling suggestions, so I've spelled everything correctly, so I can X that out. Within Google Docs, there's also a numbering feature. There is also a bullet point feature. And of course, we can add things if we wanted to get very fancy. We could add things like web addresses by using the hyperlink tool. And if we had a particular web address that we wanted that to be linked to, say, for example, I wanted to go to cfalls.org, did a search, and Google found it for me, and I could apply that. Now I've just hyperlinked. This is a test document, and every time someone clicks on it, it'll go to cfalls.org. I can, of course, change the style of lettering. Default settings Arial, but I can change that to Comic Sans if I wanted to, for example. One of the more popular things to do is to share this document. So if I was working with a partner on a project, I could click on the share button. And what this is going to load up is basically a database of all of the people within our school district. So if I wanted to share this with myself, for example, I could type my last name, and it's going to pull up everybody with the name Winkler, and I could select it. From this tool over on the right, I can allow that person to edit things. I can allow them just to view it, and I can also allow them just to make comments. Once I hit send, it will give them an email notification that a document has been shared with them. And then, of course, that person and the originator of the document can work on it together. With that information, I think that's enough to get you started on a basic Google Doc. As always, if you have any questions or need any further assistance, please let me know. Thanks for watching.